Today, I'm going to talk about how to create your future self. There's a version of you that you haven't yet met. It's a version of you that feels safe in your body, confident in your choices, and free from your past experiences. This version of you doesn't just survive, it thrives. Now, this future self isn't a fantasy, and it's not reserved for other people. It's actually already within you. And there's even scientific evidence that shows that this is true. It's called neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is your brain's ability to change at any time and at any age. It's actually how you unlearn old patterns, how you rewrite limiting beliefs, and literally how you rewire your nervous system. Now, for a long time, science believed that our brains were fixed by adulthood, that we couldn't change them. But we now know that that's just simply not true. We now know that your brain is constantly adapting. It's always listening. And this means that healing isn't just possible, it's inevitable when you work with your biology instead of working against it. So let's break it down. Many of you have probably heard by now that trauma isn't just something that happened to you. It's what happens inside of you as a result of your lived experiences. It's all the different survival patterns that your body developed in order to protect you. You might have learned maybe to shut down. Some of you have learned to people please, to stay small, or never to ask for what you need or the support that you need. All of those are brilliant adaptations. They at one time kept you safe, but they are not who you are, and they're not who you have to be. Now, when we talk about becoming your future self, we're not actually talking about becoming someone that's different. We're actually talking about who you were always meant to be. And this person is someone who has the courage to feel, who has the tools to self-regulate through their emotions, and who has the vision to imagine a life beyond survival, beyond what they've already experienced. So now, I'm going to share with you 5 clear steps to becoming your future self. The first step is you want to start with awareness, because you can't change a pattern that you don't see. So to create awareness, you want to begin to notice your thoughts, your triggers, and your emotional reactions. Begin to notice them not with judgment, but with curiosity. Imagine watching yourself like you would watch an experiment, just simply noticing yourself throughout the day. Noticing what you're thinking, watching and observing how you react to things. Noticing as well what triggers you, what causes those moments of activation or those moments of shutting down, so that you can begin to connect the dots about why certain things trigger you. You want to observe yourself in this way, which will help you get to know yourself in a deeper way. Become aware of your own patterns, because awareness is the first step to making any change at all. And the second step is then you're going to begin to practice regulation. Your nervous system is the foundation of transformation. And your future self is someone who can regulate their emotions, who can be responsive instead of reactive. And right now, like so many of us, you're probably living in survival mode, and you've probably been living in that mode for years, if not decades. I know this because I spent decades there myself. So over the next few weeks, you're going to practice emotional regulation. And to do that, you're going to begin to pause before you react, so that then you can start to make more conscious choices in how you respond to the people around you and to the things that happen to you. And you're going to remind yourself when you're practicing this every single day. You might even say to yourself aloud, my future self is emotionally regulated. So when people try to provoke you, or when they misunderstand you, you're going to be able to be a calm, confident person, one you've always wanted to be. And that really does start with this practice of emotional regulation. And you have to practice this pausing, this intentional choice to begin to access neuroplasticity. And the more you act in these new ways, the more it becomes the real you. Step 3. Now you want to begin to design your future self. Some of you might want to grab a notepad, maybe write in the notepad on your phone, and write down all of the things that you want your future self to be. Now, of course, these are going to be different for everyone, but some examples might include finding a career that you're really passionate about, being in a healthy and connected relationship, or maybe even just feeling relaxed and less anxious. Your future self for others might have clear boundaries and no longer let people into your life who take you for granted. So whatever it is for you, however it is that you imagine yourself that you want to be, take out a journal and write down, my future self is ... and just let your writing flow. Writing down all of the things that you want, all of the traits that you want to embody. Then carry this paper, this notepad around with you and put it in a place that you can look at every single day. Because to truly harness neuroplasticity, you're going to need to read this sometime throughout your day, in the morning, afternoon, before you go to bed. And the more you read this, the more you're actually practicing rewiring your brain to begin to work in new ways. The 4th step that you're going to take is now you're going to begin to take aligned actions. Once you have a list of all the different traits you want for your future self to embody, the next important step is taking the actions to live in alignment with that future self. So all of us can think about who we want our future self to be, but the rewiring actually happens when we actually take the steps to become that person. So now you're going to actually have to follow through and take those steps. So let's say that you want to be someone who has clear boundaries. The aligned action, an example of an aligned action would be to start saying no to the things that you don't want to do, that aren't aligned, that don't feel good to you inside, even in moments where you feel uncomfortable saying no. It would also be for some of you to maybe begin to speak up for yourself and to share what you're really thinking or what you're really feeling. Now, it's these small things that really, really matter and that are really going to help you become that future self. And remember, you're literally building a new version of you. This person is already inside of you, but now you're going to empower yourself to take those small steps to be that person in your daily life. And as you begin to practice these small steps, you're going to build more and more confidence in yourself. And you're going to begin, maybe for the first time ever, to begin to see how much control you actually have over your own life. You're going to really see that you're smarter, you're wiser, you are that person already. Now, the 5th and final step to creating your future self is to give yourself grace. What I see most, and I've done myself, is that people, we all want to rush this process. But think about it. It took a long time, some of us a lifetime, to become the person that we are today. You have so many habits and thoughts that you've been living within, believing, acting from for a long time. So change isn't going to happen overnight. And you'll need to remind yourself that this process is about those small steps every day, instead of looking at the finish line and feeling so far away from it. And the reality is sometimes you're not going to be your best self. You're not going to show up as your future self. And that's okay too. Sometimes you're going to be doing really well, and then something might come up, life might happen, and you might fall right back into those old habits or patterns. And all of this is part of the process. So begin to practice giving yourself grace. And that means beginning to treat yourself with kindness, regardless of how it is that you're showing up or how it is that you wish that you were showing up. Begin to break any habits of judging yourself for making any mistakes or for having setbacks, because those are going to happen. And begin to embrace the reality that you're a human being and you're doing the best that you can, regardless of the outcome. I know that if you follow these steps, which really are simple, but we need to practice them every day and begin to really show up for yourself in this new way, You're going to be amazed by the changes that happen in your life. I'd love to hear from you in the comments below who are going to begin this journey. Who is it that you want to be as your future self? Because I assure you, your future self is waiting for you.